Welcome to C language technical discussion. I am Rajendra from APSSDC. So far we are discussing about statements in C language. So today I want to talk about, so we are talking we are discussing on if else statements, if conditional statements, if else. There are so many conditional statements are available. One of them is if else, if else switch statement, else if, all these are comes under the conditional statements. So we have seen the example in the previous session. Today also we are going to talk about the examples of the if else. For suppose I would like to find out the largest of the two numbers. I want to find out largest of the two numbers. To find out the largest of the two numbers, how do we write a program? Now I will write here. First, what we have to do, first we need to include the header files. After including the header files, these header files is also called as the documentation section. These header files is also called as documentation section. So there are three parts are categorized. I will tell after writing the C program. First program name is find out the largest of two numbers. This is documentation section. Now next I will write here link section or header file section, #include stdio.h, #include conio.h, #include conio.h. Next void main, this is beginning of the C language. This is also called as function section. Now we enter the function section. Int a equal to 10, int b equal to 20. Now I want to find out which is the largest of these two numbers. So what is the logic? If a is greater than b, a is greater than b, if it is satisfies, if it is true, then we have to write here printf a is large, a is biggest. Else printf b is big. Closing else part, end of the close, end of the main program, end of the main program. Next, just you can see here there are three structure of a C language is categorized into three parts. There are three parts. There are three parts. First one is part 1, part 2, part 3. There are Structure of a C program is divided into three parts: part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 contains definition section, next link section, third one another documentation section. Documentation part 1 contains three parts: definition section or documentation section, link section and definition section. Next, part 2 contains function section. You can see here main function section. Main function section. Next, part 3 contains subprogram section. Part 3 contains subprogram section. Here part 1 means, here this is the part 1, these two are comes under the part 1. This is documentation section. Documentation section means it is part 1. This is link section. This hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h comes under link section, means to link from system library. Next, definition section we did not mention here, it is used for the macros. And other thing also we can write, that is global declaration section also we can write, but here we are not using the global, here also we can write global declaration section. Global declaration section. This is link section. This part is comes under link section. This is main function section. Subprogram section is optional. Whenever you want to write the user defined function only, we use the part 3, that is subprogram, means user defined function only we writing. Here we are not writing any subprograms, only we are writing the part 1 and part 2. So here part 2 main function also contains local variable and executable part. This is local variable section and this is executable part. So first our program, I think you understood. First, structure of a C program is divided into three parts. Part 1 definition section, link section, documentation section and global declaration section. Part 2 means main function section. Part 3 subprogram section. Part 3 subprogram section. Here next we go for this program. Now I want to explain about this program. So I want to find out the largest of two numbers, which is the largest one. These two variables are declared, A contains 10 and B contains 20. Two variables are declared and initialized. A is a variable of type integer, B is a variable of type integer. A consists 10 and B variable B consists 20. Here the first, this is memory is allocated for two variables A and B. Memory allocated for these two variables A and B. Next, if A is greater than B, means 10 is greater than 20. Is it true or false? It is false. Whenever condition becomes false, control comes out of the if block, that is else part is executed. Else part is executed, there is no condition. If it is not big means B is big. We are displaying else part, printf B is big. If and else are keywords. Always if else comes after the if condition only. I cannot write first else later if condition. I cannot write first else later if condition. If always else always follows the if condition. So, here condition I am checking. If the condition is true, Boolean expression we will get, that is true or false. This is false because A value is 10 only. So, this 10 is false, else part is executed. Here the braces are optional. Here these braces are optional. If you do not write also no problem. If you do not write also no problem. Because if there is only one statement is there in the if condition, then braces are optional. If you want to write, you can write, no problem. But these are optional. Braces are optional, else part is executed here for this case. For example, if A is equal to 30, B equal to 10, which one is executed? If part is executed here. Here the first condition is checked, this condition becomes true because 30 is greater than 10, which is true. Which is true, whenever the condition becomes true, body of the if condition is executed, that is A is biggest. A is biggest is executed. Here else part is skipped. Here this is skipped. Either if or else only will be executed, but not the both simultaneously. But not the both simultaneously. If it is if condition is executed, else condition is skipped. It is skipped. Okay, this is the program for the find out the largest of two numbers. I hope you understood this program. Next we go for the nesting if condition. Now we go for the nesting if condition. Nested if condition in a if condition is called nested if. If you want to check the both the conditions, more than one condition, then we go for the nested if statements. If you want to check the more than one condition at a time, then we can go for nested if statements. The branches in selection structures may contain one other selection structure, so it is called nested structure. If condition in a if condition is called nested. So, this is the syntax of the nested if. The first expression 1 and expression 2. I am writing the if conditions in a if condition is called nested if condition. This is a flow diagram, flow chart of the nested if condition. Just look at this picture, look at this diagram. the first expression 1 is checked. If the expression 1 is true, means control enters the expression 2. So, if the expression is true, statement 1 is executed. If the expression 2 is false, statement 2 is executed. Okay. Next, if the expression 1 itself is a false, then only statement 3 is executed, that is else part is executed. Now, you can check here. If the expression 1 is executed, means it is true, then expression, now the control enters the body of the outer if condition. If you are writing the first if condition is called outer, inner side whatever you are writing inside the another if condition is called inner if. Okay. This total is called nested if. If the expression 1 is true, and again expression 2 will be checked. Okay. Then only if the condition is condition 2 is checked true, then statement 1 is executed. If the condition 2 is false, statement 2 else part is executed. We are writing the else part inside also, inner if also we are writing. If you are not writing the inner if else statement, then if the condition is true false, then it is not executed at all. Okay. Next, we go for the else if. Else if we go for the, just check here, this is the syntax for the else if. Here this first condition 1 is true, statement 1 is executed, and remaining all statements are skipped. If the condition 1 is false, again else if condition will be checked, another if condition is checked. Okay. If the condition 2 is also false, again another condition 3 is checked. If the condition 3 is also false, else part will be executed. If you want to check more than one conditions, then we go for the else if. Then we can go for the else if. Here the first condition is false. If the condition is true, only statement 1 is executed, all the statements are skipped. Okay. We will write, I will write one example program here for the else if. Example program for the else if. For else if. Example program for the else if. Hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h. This is mandatory for every C program. Next, void main. void main, opening of the C program. This braces indicates opening of the C program. Next, int n, semicolon. Here n is a variable of type int. Next, printf, enter n value. Backslash n, enter n value. Next, scanf, %d, ampersand n, semicolon. Next, if n double equal to 1, printf it is Monday. Else, if, after else I am giving one space here, else if n double equal to 2, printf it is Tuesday. Else if n double equal to 3, printf it is Wednesday. Okay. So on you can write. Else if, else last I am writing means after 6 or 7, else printf invalid number, closing the braces, end of the program. This program now I want to check based on the number it has to be displayed the weekdays. First, for example, if I enter 1 it displays Monday, if I enter 2 it displays Tuesday, if I enter 9 it displays invalid number, if I enter 7 it displays invalid number. Okay. Only up to here only I am writing, up to 3 only. 3 only it will be printed. Other than 3, if you enter anything, it displays invalid number. First, for this I am creating one local variable n. N is a variable of type integer. N is a variable of type integer, means this n is eligible to store only integer value. Next, here enter n value. I entered here 2. Here I entered 2 from the keyboard. Okay. The moment I entered 2 from the keyboard, this 2 is read from the keyboard and stored into local variable n. 2 is read from the keyboard and stored into local variable n. Read and store. Next, here checking the condition because of the if condition. If n means what here? N means 2. 2 double equal to 1. 2 double equal to 1, which is false. So printf. So if condition is skipped, next control comes to else if. N double equal to 2. N means 2, double equal to 2. Condition is true. So whenever the condition is true, else if part is skipped, is executed. This part is executed and all the remaining are skipped. All the remaining are skipped. Only Tuesday is printed on the screen. Here the first if condition is skipped, because it is false, and remaining all are skipped, only one else if is printed executed. Okay. For example, if I am not writing the else if, I am not writing the else if, simply I want to write if condition only. If condition only, then what happens? Then what is the changes happens for the program? If I am not writing the else if here, all the conditions will be checked. All the conditions will be checked, though it is true also. If it is true also, if the first condition itself is a true, if the first condition itself is a true, again it will be checked the second if condition also. Okay. Again it check the next if condition also, because if you are not writing the else if. Okay. So, if you want to check only more than one conditions, okay, then better to write else if. Okay. We have to give the space between else and if, space here also space, we have to give the space, else if. Okay. I will write the syntax for this else if. Now, we have seen one example, next I will write one syntax for the else if. Else if, first if condition 1, the condition is true, statement 1 is executed. Next, else if condition 2, the condition 2 is true, then statement 2 is executed. Next, else if condition 3. Statement 3. Last we can write else part, statement 4. Statement 4. First, you just see here, if the condition is true, first condition is true, only statement 1, case 1 here, case 1. The condition 1 is true, 1 is true, statement 1 is executed, statement 1 is executed. If the condition 2 is means remaining or all statements are skipped, all if else statements are skipped. Remaining all else if statements are skipped, else if and else parts are skipped. Okay. If the condition 1 is only, this one is only executed. Okay. Next, case 2. Now I am talking about case 2, means condition true, condition 2 is true. Okay. Here if the condition 2 is true, this is skipped, statement 1 is not executed, only statement 2 is executed. Statement 2 is executed, and remaining statements, statement 3, statement 4 and statement 1 are not executed, Okay. Next, case 3. Case 3, okay, means case 3 means if the condition 3 is true, okay, only statement 3 is executed, statement 3 is executed, statement 3 is executed, and remaining this is not executed, else part is not executed, and this is not executed, statement 1 and statement 2 is also not executed, only statement 3 is executed, only statement 3 is executed, because case 3 only this condition becomes true. If this condition becomes true, this condition becomes true means condition 1 and condition 2 have become, they were false. Okay. Next, case 4. Case 4 means all else ifs are false, all else ifs are false, only all conditions are false. Then only statement 4 is executed, only statement 4 is executed. This is also not executed. Condition 1 becomes false, condition 2 becomes false, so no execution. Condition 3 also becomes false, so statement 3 is not executed. So, if all the conditions have become false, then only else part is executed, because there is no condition here, because there is no condition. This is else if. Here else, after else we have to give one space, then only we have to write. Else if is just small letters, because these are the keywords. Okay. Next we go for the switch statements. Next we go for the switch statements. So, switch statements allows us to program structure to choose among many different alternatives. The switch statement allows us to program a structure to choose among many different alternatives. The switch statement consists of one or more alternatives are called cases. It is also, we can see that if there is more than else if statements are involved, it becomes difficult to understand the program. So, we go for the switch statement, but I am not saying that it is exactly replacement of the else if, but it is an alternative of the there are more conditions are involved in else if, then we go for the switch statement. So, here you can see here, this is the switch statement, this is the flow chart of the switch statement. This is flow chart of the switch statement. Whenever the first we write the switch, these are all are the cases. If the switch is matched with one case, that particular case will be executed, remaining all cases are skipped. Okay. If any one of the cases are matched with the switch, then only that particular case only will be executed and remaining cases are skipped. This is the main objective of the switch statement. This is the syntax of the switch statement. This is syntax of the switch. Switch expression means you can write any expression here. You can write any expression, but not float. You can write integer or character. And after switch, then you can write the case labels. Okay. Every case should have the one break statement also, jumping statement. Last statement may be default. Default means if all the cases are not matched with the switch, then default will be executed. This default, case, switch are keywords. So, it should be small letters. For example, if you see this one, int n equal to 1, int n equal to 1. So, 1 is stored in n, 1 is stored in variable, integer variable n. Next I am writing switch of n. Switch of n means what? 1. So, wherever the case matched with the 1, then only that case is executed, means here case 1 is executed. Case 2 and default are skipped. Case 2 and default are skipped. Only case 1 is executed, that is Monday. After Monday is executed, immediately we are writing here one break statement. Break means control comes out of the block. Which block? That is switch block. Okay. If you are not writing the break, all the cases will be executed. So, for every case, break is mandatory. For every case, break is mandatory. So, for example, if n equal to 4, for example, n equal to 4, 4 is stored into integer variable n, integer variable n. So, there is no cases for 4. Case 1 is there, case 2 is there, but there is no 4. Then default is executed, that is printf invalid number. Okay. Break, control comes out of the block. So, break we should write for every cases except last case or default. Default always should be last statement. Default always should be last. Okay. So, we will discuss some more things on the switch case. Here case is also a keyword. Case labels present integral values to match the switch statement expression. Case labels present integral values to match the switch statement expression. That means every case whatever you are writing that number, label means here it may be any number, that number should be integer only. That number should be integer only. I cannot write float also. So, that is matched with the switch. Next, the default label is special type of case. When default statements are executed, whenever the cases are not matched with the switch statement, then only default statements are executed. So, for every case and default label should be end with a break statement. Break means control comes out of the block. So, first whenever this is a switch case flow diagram, flow chart diagram. If the switch value is matched with the case, okay, then that case statements are executed. whenever we are writing the last statement in a case statement break, then control comes out of the that switch block. So, if the case 1 is not executed, again case 2 is matched. If the case 2 is not matched, then case 3 will be matched. If the case 3 is also not matched, then default will be executed. Then default will be executed. Next, if you have any questions, you can ask for the conditional statements. So, we have finished the conditional statement so far, that is if condition, if else, else if and switch block. So, for the switch block we will write the example program on next session. If you have any doubts, you can send your doubts to rajendra.apssdc@gmail.com. So, you can send your doubts rajendra.apssdc@gmail.com. So, in the next session we will see the switch block and looping statements, switch block example program and looping statements we will see in next session. Meanwhile, you just practice in your system, then only you will get the doubts, then only you will get the concepts of C language. If you do not practice, it is very difficult to understand the C programs. Thank you.